Welcome back to Hops in Focus, where we take a deep dive into the hops that make modern craft beer great. So, this week, it's time for the big one.
The American OG.
The Godfather.
The George Washington.
The Wyatt Earp.
The Captain America.
The Taylor Swift.
The Pedro Pascal.
It's Citra! Is Pedro Pascal American?
I don't know, but he is everywhere.
So Paul, hop quiz, hop shot.
Nice.
What do we know about Citra?
Chris, Citra is an American hop developed in Washington in 2008 by the Yakima Hop Breeding Company. It has the experimental name HBC 394.
Oh, hang on, so HBC stands for Hop Breeding Company.
Who's the hop shot now? And what we do know for sure is that Citra is definitely one of, if not the most widely grown and widely used hops in modern craft brewing.
Yeah, certainly is. It's pretty much a staple and an institution of the IPA pale ale style of beer. Speaking of which, what are we going to be using as our barometers of the style?
We've got some crackers today. So we've got a single hop Citra from the Kernel, we've got another single hop from Beak, and then we have a multi-hop from Azvex.
But first, Paul, a history lesson.
Ooh.
Because Citra is an OG hop, but it's also got an OG background.
Oh, yes.
Because in my time of researching hops over this past 2 months, I haven't found a hop as interesting or with such an interesting background as Citra.
Sounds like a bit of drama.
Yeah, I've got some notes here because although, as you aforementioned, Citra was first released to the general public in 2008, it was actually the first Citra plant was created in 1990. Again in Washington, by a man called Gene Probasco.
Classic Gene.
Yeah, who led the hop breeding program at the hop suppliers John I. Haas.
Has.
Yes, I don't know how to pronounce that. But wait, there's more. I found Citra's family tree. Someone else's hard work managed to work out where it came from in terms of its lineage.
It's like that program. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think? Brew do you think you are?
Brew do you think you are?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's good.
Yeah, so what I found was that like many Americans, Citra actually has a mixed English, German, and American heritage.
Oh.
Yeah, so if I whack the family tree up on screen right now, you can see that although Citra's parents were left off the birth certificate,
Yeah, same.
we can see their grandparents. And their grandparents are the German Kaiser hop, Hallertau and Mittelfrüh, the English trad hops, East Kent Golding and Brewers Gold, and then there's the American contingent with some American Tettnanger and an unspecified American wild hop, which I like to think is maybe like the Pocahontas or the Native American influence.
Let's not go there.
No.
So, Chris, what you are saying then, I guess, is that if there was ever a hop that embodied the multicultural nature of the American lineage, it's Citra.
Citra is the one. On that note, I'm getting thirsty. Shall we crack the first beer?
thirsty.
Yeah.
Right, so, Chris, we are about to pour a single hop Citra Pale Ale by the Kernel. What do we know about the Kernel?
So, the Kernel, they were founded in 2009 by Evan O'Riordan. They are known for their simplistic brand design. They're also known for brewing a lot of traditional styles of beer, all exceptionally well. So let's have a little sniff. Already this looks a bit more New Englandy than I was expecting.
Yeah, what I'm expecting from this is, because it's the Kernel, is a really streamlined version of what Citra can be.
It'll be a showcase.
It's a showcase for what this hop can be. It's very cool. So, should we have a little ronk?
Let's do the ronk, sir.
Good ronking, sir.
Good ronk. Anyway, on my first ronk, actually, I'm not sure I like that smell.
Do you not? I'm getting a ton of lime on that.
It's a bit like armpits. But if an armpit had like a grapefruit and other mixed citrus wedged under it.
My Thursday. I love that smell. You can smell the bitterness already, I think.
Yeah.
That's coming from the lime, maybe a bit of grapefruit on that, but ooh.
I'm not getting much of the tropical thing.
Not in the aroma.
No.
Not in the aroma.
Shall we go for the sip? Oh, yes. Okay. That tastes way better than it smells.
I love that. I love that beer.
Recently I was in Prague,
Oh.
and every morning I was having a glass of grapefruit juice.
Oh, yeah.
Kickstart the day, and so much grapefruit there. I've become accustomed now to the grapefruitiness.
That is so bitter. And I mean that in a really, really positive way as well. I mean, that couldn't be more bitter if the wife had ran off with the kids together after a divorce.
It's simple. I don't think it's sessionable. Like I couldn't drink lots of that, could I? Maybe.
I don't know, I'd give it a go. But I know what you mean. It's
for a pale ale.
It's quite aggressive for a pale. And again, that's just coming from that intense bitterness, I think.
It's awesome though. It really is
great. When you're talking Citra, when you're talking Citra, you are expecting bitterness, but you're expecting all the classic tick box exercises of modern pales and IPAs, which is tropical fruit, grapefruit, lime.
Citra, you've got to have your citrus.
And of course, citrus in this case, but melon, gooseberry, passion fruit, peach. I think the bitter of those fruits are more prominent in this one for sure. So,
fresh glasses.
Fresh glasses. So the Kernel's down, and now we're moving on to Beak. So again, another cracking brewery. We love a bit of Beak. This is a bright IPA.
Bright IPA, Citra single hop.
It is, and it's called Strands number 3, and it is 6.4%. So while I'm pouring, Chris, do you know anything about Beak?
Okay, so Beak are based in Lewes in Sussex. So they've been there since 2020 when they built their lovely little brewery down there. But before then, they were a cuckoo brewery that were basically flitting between Leeds and London, which is where Danny was presumably living at the time. Our viewers will know Beak most likely for their hop-forward modern IPAs and pale ales.
Oh, yes.
Also, they do foray into imperial stouts, and I think they've done a sour.
Good lagers as well.
They definitely do lagers, yeah. And they've currently started they've got like a little growing mixed firm project. So, very good brewery. I'm a big fan of them.
Yep, same. But I just want to quickly focus on this beer because talk about a different aesthetic to the Kernel.
Totally different. I mean, a piss poor head retention, if I may say. But
to be fair, that's probably why pouring. But shall we have a quick ronk? Oh, you're already ronking away.
I was having a ronk.
Ooh, okay.
Firstly, before we get stuck into this, what the hell is a bright IPA? I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of bright IPA, but it sounds like it's a northwestern style IPA, an American northwestern style IPA. So this series they do, the Strands series, and a couple of other beers they do, which are being classed as bright IPAs, are influenced by their trip to Oregon and around that area. So it sounds like a bit of a marketing term.
Probably.
A marketing
what
term.
you're telling me basically, it's a variation, or it's a little marketing spin on a West Coast.
West Coast-ish.
Yes. Okay.
With more traditional and more modern hops, I think.
Okay, I mean it's looking westy. I mean it looks very sad in my glass.
It's not retaining head though. You're right. So
that Kernel one was absolutely standing to attention.
I don't want to mark big down on this, but mind you, give it a bit of a swell.
Standing to attention.
You're not aggressive enough with your swells.
Like my member in the morning.
Oh dear. Oh no. Anyway, so yeah, it definitely looks like a Westie, but a bit hazy.
Immediately, it smells way better than the Kernel one. I'm smelling more tropical stuff there. Oh, we're sipping now, are we?
I've just gone straight.
Okay.
Don't want the head to die any further. Oh, that's smooth though.
Oh yeah.
That's lost the bitterness edge of the Kernel one. That's actually a lot more mellow, rounder, softer. The tropical notes are definitely coming out more on this one, like we predicted actually.
There's some sort of fruit element in there that's pinning my taste buds down. It's like I'm trying to run out of a trench and I'm being pinned down by suppressing fire.
But with fruit.
But with fruit, yeah. So like...
What a lovely war.
Yeah. If only they were all this nice.
Oh. The dominant taste on that is it's moved away from the more bitter, fruity flavours of the Kernel, which is the grapefruit and the lime. And it's definitely more rounded, a bit more peachy. I'm definitely getting that peach.
It seems to be more tropical fruit forward, but there is still that underlying element of like the bitter citrus.
It's on the back of the palate, actually, the bitterness, which is really nice.
And also the lime. I'm getting lime out of that. It's almost like You know, when you have a little bit of a lime dash in a lager, like
Takes me back.
bit of that, please. There's kind of that sweet, bittersweet element at the end.
It's not a looker, I'll give you that,
It looks sad.
but that tastes great, you know.
Tastes really nice.
And I could session that.
Weird though, because that is like chalk and cheese. I would not have said that they're even the same hop.
But it's like it's on the opposite ends of the spectrum of what Citra gives you in terms of flavour.
But it does also...
What are two great examples of that hop?
Absolutely. It does also go to show, though, that there are elements to the beer and the other ingredients which actually make up for something, obviously. We can't all just put this down to hops like, oh, it's both got citrin, so it should both taste the same. Because, no, they've used different yeasts, presumably.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
the malt bill or the grain bill is going to be different between each of these. So
Well, apparently the malt bill is the backbone of what is considered bright IPA. I have no more information on that, but it seems the malt is a bit more considered. So, right, beer number 3.
final beer. Let's go.
Wow, okay. So, this is a pale ale 4% called Electric Butterfly from Azvex. What do we know about these bad boys?
Azvex, so relatively new because they were founded, I think, in 2020. I know 2021 they came good. They were very established by that point. So
Off the back of another
off the back
well-known brewery.
of Neon Raptor. So Adam at Azvex was one of the founders of Neon Raptor, and I think during COVID or something he had to take a step back, and then he couldn't find his way back in. So he did Azvex.
So set up Azvex, yeah. Yeah, so they're based out of Liverpool,
Yep.
I believe. So a bit of a change of pace from the single hops. So we've had 2 versions of a Citra single hop beer, 2 completely opposing tastes and aromas, which has been really great. But this is a Eldorado Laurel and Citra.
Okay.
So Citra is, I guess, taking a backseat to Eldorado and Laurel in this one. So I thought it'd be a bit of a giggle if we found out and tasted when
'cause
Citra is combined with other hops, because
Citra's-
Citra's the dominator.
I was going to say, Citra's going to be the underlying hop, isn't it?
Well, let's ronk the hell out of this bad boy.
Looks good.
Yep. Cheers. Good ronk. Ooh.
Do you know what? I've realised why I end up following through on the wrong.
You do follow through a lot. Yeah.
It's because when I go to sniff, I automatically put my lips on the glass. So I'll go. So it's no surprise really that eventually it's going to end up going, oops,
As if that's an accident.
oops, I whacked it in my mouth.
Again. So, I mean, wow. Talk about a different smell.
I'm definitely getting, I'm assuming not Citra because there's something quite floral about that.
Earthy.
Yeah. Earthy, floral.
It smells like soil.
But soil that's just had like some nice wildflower apple juice poured on it.
Someone's buried some fruit pastels in it and it's grown a nice little fruit pastel tree.
That does smell like this. Fruit pastels is a great shout.
But yeah, it's very earthy. It's got a vegetal kind of thing going on there, and I think that's probably the laurel, maybe.
Anyway, let's go in on the sip.
Can you taste the influence of Citra in this?
Yes.
How?
There's like an underlying bit of... There's like a base of bitterness. And I think that's what it is.
I think that's exactly right, and I was going to say that myself. Yeah, if they're using Citra as the foundation, and then everything else on top of that, the Eldorado and the Laurel are filling in the specific notes that they bring to the table, because one of the tasting notes of Eldorado is pear.
Okay.
Again, a lot of pear. Personally, it's the pear drop thing.
Yeah. Pear drop's a good shout.
The spicy earthiness of Laurel is just there in abundance. I mean, I think that's definitely the overpowering.
It's nice that it also tastes like it smells. Like that floral element's there.
Yeah, definitely get that. But that's the Laurel doing its thing. But yeah, you're right. That what the Citra does there is it's the bitter foundation, and it's got all those, the comforting notes that you want from a Citra.
But yeah, Citra, great hop.
Yeah.
Love it. If you'd like to find out more about Citra,
Google it.
I mean, that's what we did.